That's it, run both ways. Good old Marit, making sure that she's not wasting time. Very efficient is Marit. When you get some of these chunky invoices, it really does knock the spirit out of things. Like a squire sat up on my horse, chatting to them first thing in the morning. That's maybe not what they were thinking or called me. 8th of August, and we finished combining 2 days ago, so we are now in the process of blowing down and cleaning, getting them all sorted, working out what bits we've got to replace, damage, etc., anything like that. Each machine gets its cards taken off, and then we know what each one is. They get numbered up, and then we'll put them away on the shelf so that they stay there for the year. Now, the reason we take the guards off, I'm going to take you to a combine and show you, but is effectively you've got to make sure there aren't areas for rodents to live in. So we strip the guards off and things to get plenty of daylight in them, and they don't like to live in those type of environments, and we've got to make sure we get plenty of the chaff and the nooks and crannies. So I'll show you process one, which is blowing down. So one of the lorries is in, we're clearing out the chaff store, so everything that goes through the grain hospital, etc., that goes into the chaff, they come in and take away. That goes off to an AD plant and gets processed. There's quite a bit of energy in things like grain and mustard and chaff, etc., so that's getting used. I'm quite pleased about that, but we do that because that's better than the alternative of trying to pile it up in a field and then trying to compost it and getting rats and things like that, which could be a real issue, you know, if there's properties nearby and things like that. So this is what we do. So we're having a bit of a clear up now. The dryers are running. We're running the grain, which we've got about 1,200 tons to dry. So the pile that was in the yard, that's gone, and then obviously now we've got what's in the bins, we're running that out, and then we've got another 2 piles just to clear up what we did on the last day or 2 of combining. So I love the smell of the dryer, really helps. And then we'll go have a look in the shed, because you see the impact of the shed's really starting to fill up now, and how much space is left. Next year, if we can get the yield right, surely we can't have 3 years. There's the dryer running with that's the exhaust fans. So when the grain goes in the top, it comes down like in 10 layers, sitting on top of each other slowly, coming out the bottom. And while it does that, on one side the burners blow hot air up, and then they suck on this side cold air and they exhaust it. Otherwise it will start to sweat and at worst catches fire. So always reminds me of harvest when I grew up, and my father used to run the dryer, and harvest was always about drying, and he'd pretty much dry from the beginning to the end continuously, be drying something. So it doesn't feel like harvest unless the dryer's running. I wouldn't want a farm without a dryer of this type as opposed to an on-floor system. Once you put it through this, it's done, it's in the shed, you just got to ventilate and cool it, and then it's you haven't got to worry about it. Once it goes on the floor and you try and dry it through the pipes, you've got to try and make sure it works, doesn't sweat up, doesn't grow, doesn't get bugs, etc. I'm not a fan of that model. I like putting it through a proper continuous flow dryer. So we're a long way in now to the shed. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 bays basically, which are currently got nothing in, and then we've got obviously the apex as it comes along. So I haven't asked Gordon to be exact on it, but there'll be about 16,000 tonne in here if I was to guess. So the fans are on, so they're putting air in, and the grain in here is all 15%, and then we'll just ventilate and take the heat out, because some of it will be, what's going in the top will be 30 degrees. So we need to get that down below 10. So the first thing we do is run the fans to get it down to 20, and then start to bring it down from then on. If you don't, it will sweat on top and it will start growing. That's it, run both ways. Good old Marit, making sure that she's not wasting time. Very efficient is Marit. She couldn't find me because I keep my phone on silent, so she couldn't get me to answer. It's like the old days when you used to get a phone call. Father and grandfather used to have a bell up on the wall, so when the phone rang, the bell used to ring outside, so they knew to go in and get the to answer the phone. I was thinking about that the other day, pre-mobile phones, how people had to call people at coffee break or lunch break to make sure they got hold of them. How different things have changed with the technology and things. It must have been almost a little bit more civilized in a way. You get more done, I think. Okay, so we've got 3 combines here. One's on the wash, so Kieran's over here, Aaron's at the top, and Sandy's here. So they're currently blowing down the combines. They even have to sort of get half inside them to try and make sure there's no debris and everything that's sort of getting lodged. So if I take you up to this combine here, number 3, which is Sandy's, he's doing the header at the moment. You'll see how nook and cranny these are, which is a perfect environment for rodents. So this is just obviously what's coming out of it. So there's an awful lot of dust and grain, and it gets lodged. You know, when you start to get in, now this is a zoom time, Tom. So when you start to get in, you look, they're the rotors that come out the back, and places like that fill up with grain. We take the panels off here. This was completely full in here. And the very nature, we mustn't get these wet, because these are, of course, the electronics, and you know, keep washing them that's a real no-no. That's how you get a problem. And the worst thing about washing combines is a lot of people don't wash them. Is if you get water in the bearings, the water sits in the bearings, and then when you run them up next year, the bearings fail. So what we have to do is, when we've washed them, we refill all the bearings with grease before we wash. Then we refill the bearings afterwards, but we get them hot. We leave the combines running for about 2 hours to get them hot, to push the water out when we re-grease, so the water doesn't sit inside them over the winter. So yeah, you get all these areas like this. This is where the rodents can get in these trays under here. You know, when you get in here, you start finding stuff, and the problem is that's a food source. And it literally takes us like 3-4 days to clean combines. There's so many places. I mean, you got the under here. That's the stone trap. That door's up, and that's got those black ladder things. They pulled them out. And you see here the panels are off, so you can sort of see where the grain falls down, and then the drum pushes the grain and it falls through. And then they're like grills here, and that's how the grain goes in to then go into the clean grain elevator, or goes into the sieves further back. So, you know, you start to get your eye, and there's lots of little cubby holes in here all over the place where you can see where the muck can sit. You know, take that access panel off up there. So yeah, they chase muck around. If they go too quickly onto the power washers, what happens is, if you don't get as much as you possibly can off with the blowers, you then just, with water, you're just chasing muck backwards and forwards across the combine, and it mostly blows on yourself. And see, Sandy's here, look, he's finding more nook and crannies, aren't you?
Everywhere, James.
Everywhere.
Just where the potentiometers are.
And we were lucky because we didn't get a lot of rain this harvest. A lot of these combines are quite clean, aren't they?
Yeah, they're quite clean compared to last year.
You know, you get a wet harvest, it's either growing
or stuck in there.
Or it's stuck, isn't it? Yeah.
No, you've done well, got the rotors clean.
And you see in here that
it literally hides everywhere.
You see, this is the, there you go, you see, this is the problem, and there'll be in here, there'll be something to eat. Yeah, there you are, guys. And then you've got, obviously that's nice bedding for them.
Trying to get it all out.
Yeah, so it's a big job, isn't it? Probably the worst bit about being a combine driver, isn't it, Sandy?
It is indeed. But we're getting there.
Yeah.
The rotors have probably been the worst bit this year.
The rotors?
Rotors, at the back of the rotors.
Oh, and this panel on the back.
Yeah, right at the back. You have to like get your hand right in there, and it actually ended up using the combine airline because they're a bit too long, so it's trying to get it curved back round in there.
Yeah, they're sitting on ledges.
Yeah, just sitting on the top of the
so
rotor.
what we were talking about is what we really want. I've seen a couple of people have made big grain store fans fit on the front housing, and then plug them in, and then the volume of air,
going through.
and that's actually what we want. We want something like that,
something
which
to blow through them.
I don't know how effective it is, but I can only imagine it would be good.
Makes a good job.
It would create that volume of air that gets it off little ledges and things.
Well, it's surprising, once you get it off the ledges, you turn the combine on with a fan on, it soon blows it out. You saw this morning how much
Yeah. You just have to keep doing it, don't you? Yeah, and then Kieran's down there getting it done. It's amazing where it comes from. He's inside the tank, so this is coming out the tank, sits in the bottom of the tank. A bit of barley there, a bit of wheat, so it's amazing what he's finding hidden away. I'm really pleased with my front tanks. They've been a godsend in the way, you know, we carry them on the front, and then wherever they go, they've got their own compressors. I'd like to, these obviously we built ourselves, but if we were to do it again, I'd obviously want to make them look a bit, perhaps a bit more rounded, a bit more sort of state of the art. I'd have cupboards on the side, so I can put the oils and the grease and things in, and then perhaps keep the spares on them as well. So I wouldn't want to not have them now. I'm really pleased with them. When I went to the Horsch sprayer factory, we saw these frames, and I said to Theo Lieb and Michael Horsch, when the sprayers come, I'd like the frames as well. They put the tyres on. So a tyre each side, it means that then whichever tyres we're not using, we can put these on, and then we can stack them safely out the way rather than tyres falling over on people or we're having to put them round. So we've been long looking for a solution with tyres because we've got so many different tyres. You know, when you've got the 1100s, and then you've got 900s, and then you've got 600s, and then there's 4 on each, and then you get the trail sprayers, etc. You soon start to collect a lot of tyres. So really pleased with these. So yeah, these will be for the sprayers now. We'll have their own frames. They're nice. They've done it nicely. They're all galvanised, and yeah. And then you obviously just pitch them back, and then you put the strap on. Job done. We're now on the wash bay. This is obviously combine 2, so they're the first of the 4 combines to get washed. So they're busy washing this. And then we use the cherry picker to go up high. Any height work, we do it that way as opposed to any other way for safety. And you know, the cherry picker for me is such a valuable tool on this business. So this will probably take him a minimum of a day. He started it yesterday washing it. So you end up chasing stuff backwards and forwards, and the better you are at blowing down, the better you are at not covering yourself in muck. So Kieran's doing this currently, and then in beginning of September, him and Aaron are going on a 18-stop tour for 30 days through Europe, where you go on a bus and it takes you to Rome and south of France and Venice, etc. Sounds pretty exciting, actually. 30 days, 18 stops. I suppose you're going to spend a lot of time in a bus, but you see a lot of Europe. So yeah, they're pretty excited about that. Especially with getting the harvest done early. They'll go, when they've done this next week, it'll be cultivations. We've already got a hedge cutter running. Tom's on a hedge cutter doing it, flailing out the ditches and things. Chris is on the mower. He's mowing SFI and grass fields, etc. And then we've got Sophie's on a subsoiler, Glyn's on the Tirano, Raymond's on the Tirano, and Freddie's on the Joker. And then Gordon's doing the meals and the fuel at the minute, and Graham sat on a 13-ton digger, started yesterday, pulling all the ditch spoil out in Bedford, which he dug out, so levelling that out ahead of the cultivations. So just got to get in front of the cultivators to get rid of all the ditch spoil around the outside, and then Tom will flail around the outsides, etc. So we're sort of doing farms as blocks as we're going round, so that's good. And then if we're lucky, we'll finish cultivating by the middle of this month. That should get us at least everything to pass. It might be a bit of bale pad areas to clear up with the straw. Will be hopefully, we're making great momentum. It all has to be delivered this month. So that's my contracts of July and August. So the power station are working well with us, sending lorries, grateful for them. And then Henry's doing a great job loading. And then we're still baling, we're currently baling Lincolnshire. So hopefully if we're lucky, we'll finish baling tomorrow. And then it's chasing. The poor guy on the chaser has the hardest job, I think, because he has to chase 2 balers the whole time. But so he's going to chase and then loading them out. So then we'll have to subsoil those areas. And yeah, we're making some waves, that's for sure. Getting things done. It's nice to be feeling like you're on top of the job. We're actually ahead of things. And if we can get to the point that we can get cultivated by middle of this month, that then gives us the opportunity to start rolling. As I said before, I want to roll all the land which is going into barley and things, so that actually I can try and get a pre-chit on that before we drill. And then we're going to start getting the drills around there, getting them all serviced, getting them checked over, getting them tillied, etc. Make sure they're ready. And then we're going to have 4 12-metre drills running, and then we've got 2 6 metres as well. So hopefully we won't have to run the wet weather drills this year. So, and as if you remember, September drilling is the way forward, and October drilling is for losers. We used to run a 10 tonne an hour Almet dryer, and a 5 tonne an hour Almet dryer. And then before that, Father had 2 5 tonne Almet dryers. When I built the grain store in 2008, which is its first season, started building in 2007, we put the Kentra dryer in, which can run effectively flat out at 60 tonne an hour, but 42 tonne an hour is supposed to run at 5% moisture reduction. So a lot of drying we do would probably be maybe 17% down, which is what it is at the moment. And we have dried a lot. The first year, in fact, in 2008, we had to dry nearly all the entire harvest at about 24, 22, 21 moisture. So the dryer for me is like having another combine. It's such a valuable thing because, of course, we can dry anything that goes through a combine effectively. You can see the nice red auger in the distance. You'll see which the guys got built that night, which when you've got a great team is when you all pull together. There's 8, 9 of you in there putting it together to get something done. Actually, that's a huge amount of fun. It's, you can see how the Egyptians and the Romans got so much done. When you get so many people, it's amazing what you can achieve with a volume of people. But yeah, so she's purring away. Now this has got an automatic system on it. I'm going to go and have a look now because it should have had enough learning where it's worked out to run itself. And Steve's now around the corner loading lorries, so it's now running on its own, basically changing the moistures, and then they jug test just to make sure that it isn't kicking anything into store at the wrong moisture. So we will typically kick into store somewhere between 15.1, 14.9, 15.2, something like that, because once it goes into store and we start to put those big fans on, that will drop it down to just under 15. If we need it to outload immediately, then we're going to have to dry it to 14.5 to make sure we don't get a claim or anything at the next place. So we don't want to dry too much because you're removing water, which removes weight, basically. So if you over dry and you go to 12 or 13, all you've done is you've just over dried and you're removing weight. Doesn't make it any easier to store. Storing under 15 is fine. 16, a lot of places can store at, but you can't sell at. Anything above that, you start to get storage issues, and effectively you wouldn't store it much past a month. This is the pit where we drive over with the lorries, tip straight into it. You can tow it through the tailgate, straight in. It's a 20-ton hole, and then you can have 10-ton above, so you can tip a 30-ton lorry basically. And a drive-over pit makes a big impact. The other pits we got on the site, front and back, you reverse up and you do them through the sock. They still tip at 15 minutes to do a lorry, whereas this you could do it in 5-6 minutes. The time, where the slowdown time is the time it takes the lorry to tip up in the air, get out, undo the tailgate, all that sort of thing. There's still a period of time that gets absorbed in the process of tipping. So the dryer at the moment is running itself, and you can see here the two lights. Can you get this, Tom? Can you see it? Well, if not, I'll do it with my phone. Okay. So this is the dryer. So low level, high level. So you want it on high level. There you go. It's just come off. So if you watch this, this will eventually turn on now. There you go. Turned on the bin. So the bin now is coming down to this, up the elevator, across, drop down into the dryer. Now the point of that is that will fill that. When that high level light comes on, that will turn that off, and then that will no longer absorb it from the bin. So currently he could now put more wheat in here because both lights are off. This bin here has got mustard in it currently. That's waiting to go through the cleaner. And you can see here on the panel, so he's got it set for 14.9. Predicted moisture 14.7 currently. Dryer speed is at 10. It's currently taking it in at 16.9, which is just shy of 17%. And then you can see the dryer temperature is 80 centigrade. And what you do is if you come over to this very simple system, you've got different temperatures. So if you're doing feed wheat or feed barley or something, you can go at 125 Celsius. So as I said, you've got 20 to 15 abstraction, so that's flat out, very warm obviously, and maximum grain temperature 62. Because we're on milling wheat, you have to go a maximum of 85, because if you go too high, you bake it basically, you kill the germ in it, and then when they go to make bread out of it, it's like dead wheat. That's why when we're doing milling wheat, we don't go above 85, and then that would be a maximum temperature of 48. When you go to something like malting barley, 70, so it's even less heat, so much slower process in drying malting barley. This is the auger which they fixed. It's not beautiful, but when the galvanised spray comes, I'm surprised it's not here actually, but I had ordered it through Amazon. We'll take that up, and then we'll look at what we're going to do about this out of season. I know they've got a month shutdown on the plant to try and do a complete overhaul. We're starting to replace things. There's simple things like the grain as it comes down, it starts to wear holes. It's quite abrasive, so you wear a hole in it. So we taped it up for the minute, and then we'll replate this with metal, re-weld it up, and they're the type of small jobs we have to do to keep a plant like this running. So this is one of the blowers. So burners, sorry, not blowers, burners. It is crudely, this is not dissimilar to what you would see in a heating system, kerosene heating system in a house. So effectively we've got the motor here, we've got the fan in it, blowing in it, the kerosene which is lit, creating the heat and being drawn into the top of the dryer.
That heat's going straight up and then it's going inside the dryer, which is then being blown or sucked, if you like, with the fans on the other side, being sucked in through the column in like triangles, the grains either side of it, and that heat as they come down is then drying the grain, and the grain is coming down like this all the time. So the grain is constantly dropping down, and it's taking a sample. Any time you watch it drop is each time it takes a sample, and that's what's measuring then the moisture. And we're doing that, it's then feeding that back to the dryer and telling it what the output moisture is, because this is the output side, and at that point it will adjust itself by slowing down basically in coming out. And it's no different than an oven. The longer it stays in, the longer it dries. So you will slow itself down or speed itself up according to what's coming out based on the set point.
This is the dryer tank, so this is, we run the, oh hell, we run the dryer on kerosene, so we're down to just above 2,000 litres, which I think will do us about 600 tonne, I think that's right. So we shouldn't have 600 tonne left to dry. There's a real skill in balancing a stock. You always want to have enough if you've got to do some drying, but you never want to carry too much in stock till the next year because it's tied up money. So yeah, we're just a fraction above 2,000 litres, so should just make it. So Steve's getting cleared up now, getting that wheat put in the dryer. So, and he's out loading lorries at the same time, so we got loads going. We've got quite a lot of wheat, for example, which services mills during August. So if they're making bread, they don't like to suddenly go to new crop from old crop because there's a taste change and people might suddenly notice that the loaves of bread taste differently. So what they do is they blend old with some new and they slowly change it over so that I think people's taste buds don't notice the change difference between old and new. So we store quite a lot of milling wheat which goes out during this harvest period. Anyway, I've got to come and have a look to see how the horse is doing. I haven't been to see it. My father is having to look after it while Emmy's gone with Grandma to see my sister in Wales. And anyway, he is not a natural horse person or had anything to do with horses. And he rang me earlier and said, "Are you going to come and look at this horse?" So I think he's somewhat not sure if he's doing a good job or not. Anyway, this is Willow, and really is a lovely pony. Pleased with this. Hello, girl. Hello. How are you? You've got some flies on you, haven't you, hey? Huh? How are you? Everything all right? Yeah, it's nice. There's a bit of grass out here, which is all right. My big grey I had, he was not dissimilar looking, but yeah, it's nice. Hasn't quite made me want to go back horse riding yet though. But, anyway, when the pony turned up the other day, a wonderful lady turned up in a horse lorry, and it was a 14 horse lorry on the back of an Arctic lorry, which I really liked that part. I thought that was a proper way to move horses about. But the yeah, I remember my days of used to do all the agronomy on the horse. So I used to take the horse out every day on this little horse lorry that we'd had since the 70s, which my grandfather on my mother's side had. And I used to go out on this. I'd go out in this horse lorry, take the horse to whichever farm. I'd do a different farm each day. So I used to then drop the tailgate, off I went, going around the crops, looking at the crops, and then the next day the next farm and so on. It was actually a really efficient way of getting around because I needed to ride the horse anyway, but also gave me the opportunity to make sure I was going around the farm checking the crops. So sort of killing two birds with one stone. And at one time I used to come and see the guys at the workshop first thing in the morning on my horse. I'd go out riding first and then I'd come and see them in the morning. Like a squire sat up on my horse, chatting to them first thing in the morning. That's maybe not what they were thinking or called me.
We are overcladding all of the timbered fascias and barges so that he doesn't have to paint them anymore. That's what we're doing. So capping over UPVC. So we just repair the wooden bits behind that are rotten and make sure everything's structural, and then we overclad it with plastic so we don't have to paint it again. Measure it, cut it, scribe it in if it needs to be, and then cap it on, and then re-put the guttering back on. Check all the joints to make sure nothing's going to leak, and then move on to the next part.
I've had the price in for this, £5,500. for this piece. When you get some of these chunky invoices, it really does knock the spirit out of things. But I'm only grateful that Fent had it in stock at Coventry, so we didn't have any delay having to wait for it to come to France or anything like that. So that was a big relief, because we dispatched somebody that morning. The driver, Raymond, went and picked it up while Graham came in, stripped it all off, put that on, and then he was back out going that day, so pretty pleased with that. I saw there's a few comments about parts and that sort of thing, but the reality is everything breaks down. The more you use it, like that machine's over 5,000 hours now. So in terms of parts, every year something will go wrong on them. But as long as the parts are in stock, the quantity of work they do, if they do 1,000 hours a year and I have to do a $5,000 bill on it, it's still a cost-effective machine in my thinking to run. You're obviously going to every 2 years going to have to pay for new tracks, which is quite a bite. But I wouldn't change them to at the moment to anything else. They suit my thinking, they suit our system. I like them. We have actually, I believe, got a different make coming on demo next week. I won't tell you what it is in case it doesn't turn up, but I believe it's coming next week, and I'm interested to see what it's like, because it's bigger horsepower, and I've got a thing about big horsepower, so pretty excited about that. Pumps are off, so this is the one that had the fire. So they're going to change the oils, and then they're all numbered up to know what they've come off. The fourth one is over there, and then they're going to go on the pallets. They'll go up on the shelves, and then we use these for liquid fertilizer. So part of what we're doing at the moment in this sort of big clean down is that we're getting everything off the chaser bins, etc., and we're getting them sorted out in the sense of anything that's broken, get it fixed now rather than wait till next year, so that actually when we pull stuff out next year, we're thereabouts ready to go, rather than just relying on everything during the winter. It's much easier when you've got the people who've been using them to know what to fix, rather than we look for the problem when they've long gone, they're the other side of the world. So we're getting that sort of job done. So our harvest haulage is done.
Yep.
All 12 lorries are on it. We got 11 people on harvest, is that right? And 1 not?
10 on harvest,
Oh, and 2 not.
1 not, and 1 needing a driver.
Oh, and 1 vacancy.
Yes.
Oh yes, you're right, he's gone to Canada.
Yes.
Yeah, he went a long way to get away from me, Paul.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're going to do it properly.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we've got a vacancy for a for 1 haulage driver.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. So anybody out there that knows somebody that wants to drive one of the green lorries, get hold of Paul at the main address, or email transport@pxfarms.com.
Yep.
So we've got 2 now straw.
Yes. 2 on straw.
So they're moving our straw. We don't do it all year, we just move our own straw, and then when that's done we park up, don't we?
Yep.
And then the rest are...
Got 1 moving the ag lime.
Oh yeah,
Getting that moved ready.
We bought some ag lime from a quarry, and we're taking that to different farms where we did want. So it's going to Bedford, it's going to Lincolnshire, it's going to Cambridge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got a spreader we're waiting to come, haven't we? And then we're going to go and spread it ourselves, based on soil, SOYL, doing the mapping. Oh, I don't think they're calling themselves that. I think it's actually calling it Frontier now. But anyway, it was soil. And so we'll use their maps, and then we'll spread those. So you'll get those done. What will that be done by? What did you have? 560? Just 1 lorry. So that's
End next week.
okay. So if we get it midweek, by the time we've finished, that will have tied in nicely.
He'll be ahead of them and
okay.
be straight
So
on it.
for us, that's a really efficient way. We go buy the ag lime that's already screened in a quarry. Paul goes and puts a lorry on. We don't have to explain it to the driver. I bet it's Mark, is it?
Yeah.
It's Mark Moxon.
He knows exactly where he's going.
So basically, he'll just go and tip it in the right places. There's no real conversation. Knows the farm's inside out. Saves us a lot of time, doesn't it? Don't have to open gates. Don't have to push up.
Yeah, lots
etc.
simpler.
Putting it on beet pads we built previously when we did sugar beet, and then the others are now getting grain moved, etc. So now we've finished combine. This is a good opportunity to make some money, isn't it? Because you could argue, even though you get paid by the farm to move grain, but it's wooden dollars. I'm paying
That's-
myself to do something myself. On paper, you do well,
Yeah.
but on my side of the desk, I'm just moving money from one side to the other.
It's money that's already in the pot.
Yeah.
So now we can bring some money
Now
in.
we can bring some money in, and we accounts run up to the end of September, so hopefully we can make the lorries. You could argue, Paul, that the lorries are paid for up to now,
Yeah.
and everything from now on till the end of September is profit.
Yeah.
It's as crude as that, isn't
It
it?
is. Yeah.
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 Which just demonstrates how hard you have to work to make the lorries get to the point of covering cost.
The margins are so much tighter these days.
Yeah, than they ever were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously they have a place for us because we use them to basically facilitate the entire farming business.
Yeah.
I mean, they do everything.
Yeah.
We don't own a tractor and trailer.
No.
So,
Oh, could you imagine trying to do Lincolnshire with tractor and
I
trailer?
worked it out. Was it 48 tractors and trailers we
Yeah,
need?
there'd be a lot, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just impossible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's the update from the haulage department. Right, so basically, we've already done this. But Marit, when handed the phone, had it on record and then unrecorded it, and has suddenly realised that the great excitement of unveiling Paul's date, but she's now feels so bad, she's gone and re-enveloped it. But we've already been through this, haven't we, Paul?
Yes.
This is what you call deja vu.
It is.
Now,
yeah.
I don't do take twos.
I've got a feeling I know what the date is before you unwrap it.
Yeah. Well done, Paul. Paul has got the 6th of the 8th, which is today. He had predicted today was the day that we would finish harvest, which has been sitting on his wall now for nearly 4 weeks. Is that right? No, a bit longer.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Third day of harvest.
And anyway, well done, Paul. Congratulations for the second time. Well done, Marit.
I've got the lottery ticket, so we'll see what
Have we
happens.
done it?
Yeah.
I've been and bought 4 lottery tickets. Did you buy 4?
I bought 5.
5. So
Yeah.
one for your wife, one for each child, and yourself. Who's the 5th for then?
Just a family ticket.
Right. Okay. So so if the 5th one wins,
Yeah.
you better put that one in the envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah. To celebrate the 2025 early harvest, only finished harvest 3 times in my career in nearly 30 years. One was last year, then this year, and my father finished in the 27th of July in 1976, so 49 years ago. But Trevor Tyrrell from Class came out with bottles of Bollinger and a flag and waved over the line to celebrate us finishing at the beginning of August, which probably will never happen in my career again, because 49 plus 49 is mostly unlikely I'll still be alive. So sun is shining. Monday with cousin Michael and Tom, we're going up to Sunderland and we're going to video the ship which is coming in Tuesday morning, Cracker Sparrows, which is the fertiliser, which is our fertiliser for next spring. The nitrogen, liquid nitrogen is coming in on a ship, and we're going to film that ship coming in, and then they're going to be pumping off the fertiliser. We're going to be there with Lord Fuller, which is part of Blind Throw, which we buy the fertiliser indirectly through Frontier, and we're going to film that process. Quite interested to see the size of the ship, how much is on it, and John, he's going to tell us all about it, etc. So that's what we're doing next week. And we've also got a demonstration, I believe Monday, weather permitting and delivery permitting, of a large horsepower tractor for us to have a look at. So anyway, just something I was dealing with on my desk. Just got my age of debtors list, which I'm going through. And interestingly, I thought I'd just sort of share this with you, just to put the perspective of some of the things that go on. So 90 days, if we just look at the 90 days overdue, effectively, we've got £723,000, which is currently overdue. And when you look at the culprits, interestingly, it is the likes of South Staffordshire Water, the Valuation Office. That's to do with compulsory purchase of land, still not paid, and that's dated from 2020. So that's 5 years old from a project that started in 2017, still not paid out. We've got the likes of National Grid, national gas transmission, and it's in, Greater Cambridge Partnership. So on the whole, most of these are either government or local authority or national utility companies which owe the majority of that money or compulsory purchase, which is frightening really when Anglia Water on this page. It is frightening. As I said to somebody who came to see me today from East West Rail, that you always expect us as farmers to behave like gentlemen, but yet we get treated like dogs. I think that's an extraordinary amount of money, and some of these have been going on for years now. Part of the compulsory purchase and the various codes, whether it's utilities or telecom codes, or I think there needs to be I saw in a CLA magazine that they're now got a review happening, but the review is a disadvantage to the landowners, not a positive advantage to landowners. But yeah, there should be huge penalties of, let's say, 12% interest rate or something like that paid. That would, by default, would solve a lot of these problems merely by the fact that they would accrue a large amount of interest, far greater, as opposed to 1% below the Bank of England rate, which of course you can't borrow at the Bank of England rate or below the Bank of England rate. So if they do that, then it's cheaper for them to owe us money than it is for them to pay us. And that's part of the compulsory purchase powers. Anyway, super. Look forward to seeing you next week. Tom thinks I'm being a fanny because I don't like boats. I don't like choppy water. In fact, I can get seasick smelling fish standing on the dock. So I'm sort of already saying I'm not going on this boat, this tug, to get out to this big boat. But anyway, it's the only time that Tom has found that he's a bigger hero than me, so he's sort of really enjoying this. Whether Michael's got sea legs or not, I don't know. We'll find out. So we'll see you next week. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.